Hello everybody, and you're very welcome to the penultimate round of the Formula 1 career mode. It's the United States Grand Prix at the Circuit of Americas, and already it's not going to be a promising Grand Prix as I received a 10th place grid penalty for a discrepancy in the 8th minute of the session after colliding with Alonso. It was a rather harsh penalty, but it's one you'll just have to accept, and if I don't qualify any higher than 11th, then I will be starting from the very bottom of the grid in 20 seconds. So this is my first attempt around the Texas track. I've never done it before, just like India. So after trying my hardest in the practice session, I'm just pumping laps around the track. Here we go into the final sector. I'm still bottom of the timesheets anyway, so an improvement early in the session is still welcome. So here we go. I'm about to cross the line, and I'm into 9th position, so all good. But that didn't last for the entirety as I was dropped to 14th. But that was okay. Both Williamses advanced to the next session, and Vettel with the time to beat there, 140.3. And now with the clouds starting to set in, Q2 was a longer session as well. I didn't quite get going as quick as I'd liked. This is sector 1 now. I'm just 2/10 down. 2/10 up my own time, and pretty much 800ths of a second behind Grosjean's time, and I have to qualify better than 11th, basically make a name for myself. I'm going to avoid losing too much time to that penalty, and this is my least favourite corner of the track, but I did very well there, the double left, and now here's another double left to end the lap. My fuel light is going on. This is my last chance. I can sense it. Nearly taking a shortcut there, but across the line in a time of 1:42.009. It's way too slow to compete with Grosjean and Button, but 12th place is still 12th place. Now this is actually my final attempt. Here we go. Can I make anything count? No, I've made the mistake and hit the curb and the Rolex sign, so that puts me in 22nd place as I now am deducted 10 places, and the other man who was punished was Nico Rosberg, and he will have a few punishments to do. But there's the reason why I was punished in Japan. We only get 3 sets of full wet tyres over the weekend, so I had no choice but to pit 3 times and take them on. So there we go. It's pole position for Vettel, but you could see Rosberg was handed the 10th place penalty, and he would have been on pole otherwise. So a full wet Grand Prix here in Texas, and now I'm behind the Marussias, Bianchi to my right, and away we go. Chilton off to a very good start there, but look at that Caterham in the distance. You can see the rain glitches in and out a little bit, but I'm very conservative entering the first corner. It looks to be a tricky one. Oh, look at Charles Peak. He's already in 13th, and Rosberg off to a horrendous start. Rosberg already down. Ricciardo on my outside. I'm trying to find a gap. Maldonado looking dangerous. Well, late braking. I collide with Rosberg very heavily, and that'll put him well down the order. Cars off in the complex section there. Maldonado! Goodness me, that was another close call. Gutierrez takes full advantage, and a quite horrific start to the Grand Prix, especially low down. I could have certainly taken my wheel off if the damage was a bit more sensitive, but Guido van der Garde is the nearest car to me. I see a gap and dive for it. Maldonado blocks cleanly enough, and I'm now trying to catch Gutierrez off, but not to be. Now we head down the long back straight. It's where Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton famously duelled in the maiden Grand Prix, but now it's my chance to try and gain positions from 17th. I look down the inside, and there's a big gap exploited there. Chilton nearly loses out, so I've gained 2 spots in one clean manoeuvre, but Max Chilton remains ahead in the Marussia. So great starts for Caterham and Marussia, who need more points. A little tank slapper there, and now the double left. I take a clean move down the inside again past Max Chilton, so that's 14th position in the space of 1 lap, so that's a lot of positions gained. But now I've got work to do to catch Daniel Ricciardo and John-Eric Vergne. Bear in mind that Toro Rosso are the only team not to have scored a single point this season, so they have a big opportunity to go all the way with some points. And now that completes my first ever racing lap of the Circuit of the Americas. So I wouldn't say it was a bad one. I've gotten away from a big queue of cars, and I'm chasing down Ricciardo and Jean-Eric Vergne, and I believe Charles Pic is ahead of them as well. So an incredible start to the Grand Prix. I now back down the standard fuel mix, and deep breath, going for a I'm following the racing line here, no need to dive bomb, and here we go past sector 2, and nearly 12 seconds quicker this lap after the standing start. Wasted a lot of time, and here we go. I'm sensing another opportunity, and I've taken it. Daniel Ricciardo is the latest to be overtaken, fair and square. It's a good easy pass. The AI just go very far wide into the apex, whereas I like to hug the inside and take advantage where I can. Jean-Eric Vergne gets a good exit, but again I'm taking my chances, and I'm through again. Charles Pic though, he's okay. Good getaway from the Frenchman, as I beat the other Frenchman behind me. So all's good in love and war, they always say. And now I sense an opportunity to get past Pic here. No, not to be. I'm actually making a mistake there. So Pic will get a little bit of time, but now with the inferior Cosworth power, I have every chance of catching him. And actually no, I don't think it's Cosworth anymore. I beg your pardon, I think they're in Renault power, I forget to be exact. But now it's a battle of Pic and Harman, and I go down the inside even before the double left, and I'm through. But Pic lost a lot of time there, and now Jean-Eric Vergne is through, and I'm getting wide again. So that would have been a big moment. But there we go, I'm cleanly through into 11, but not for long, as I made a mistake in the first sector, and Ricciardo was overtaking me. So that cost me a chance to chase down the points scoring positions, and that was just poor by me, to be honest. And we got a long way to go, but Ricciardo just looks to be vastly superior now that he's got free reign over his destiny. And you can see, look how far he's gotten away from me in just the space of a few laps. It's about 5 or 6 seconds at least. And we now take the final corner to see just how bad the damage is, as I'm struggling to keep the tyres in check. I lost 3 seconds that lap, and Ricciardo is now 8.6 seconds clear, so big loss. Now he's 14 seconds clear of me, as the tyres are pretty much done for the day. They need to be replaced by a younger, more able pair. And Jean-Eric Vergne wants to overtake as soon as possible, of course, but I think as cars begin to pit, he will be one of them. Fernando Alonso is one of the other cars as well. He's already won the championship, if you remember from the last episode. He won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Oh, that was a contact with the barrier, and I very nearly spin. So I thought at the time it was Jean-Eric Vergne hitting me in the back, but not to be. It was a little contact with the barrier. Now just about every pit crew has come out to serve their driver. That's of some description, but there we go. I've been held up ever so slightly. That's because Jean-Eric Vergne is through. I have beaten Charles Pic out of the pits, but Jean-Eric Vergne has also gotten past. So Toro Rosso putting in a stellar effort so far. I try to gain a little bit of payback, but it's a little too late. And there we go. Jean-Eric Vergne is through, but at least on superior tyres I might be able to make a cut of this. But now I make a run on Jean-Eric Vergne here. We're just about going equal pace. I'm gaining a little bit now. I'm in the slipstream, diving at the 125 meter board, and I'm too far, I'm too late. A poor overtaking attempt, and Jean-Eric Vergne is through. Nico Rosberg is now the man behind me in 15th, so the German will want a big push to try and make up time. I now make another attempt down the inside, side pod contact, and it's a penalty. The stewards have awarded me a penalty for putting Jean-Eric Vergne onto the runoff area with the absolute least amount of contact possible, and that is a very, very gut-wrenching decision. It was probably a terrible maneuver to make in the first place, but I didn't do anything malicious to ruin Vergne's race. But you can see there's the classification. You'll need to rewind, as I haven't quite read through, but now I've made a mistake of my own. I completely forgot to brake into the corner below, and I went wide, so that puts more pressure on me after receiving that penalty. And Rosberg had the wishes come true there, as he needed me to move over if he was going to stand any chance of making progress. And there we go. Tank slapper Hulkenberg takes me out. He wanted to move down my inside, and he's taken me clean off the track. And of course, he won't be getting a penalty for that. So that means I have to take my penalty in worse conditions than I was before. So I just furiously pressed the stop button there and got on with my job. So that's my race effectively killed off. All my progress is gone. I did my best to defend from Hulkenberg, and he just went down my inside and spun me. I didn't collect the footage completely, so apologies for that, but I do feel that Hulkenberg should not have been there. But now here's my race leader, Lewis Hamilton, wanting to get past, and I was wasting his time, in fairness. So now it's all about catching Charles Pic for 18th. I don't know if I can do it at this stage, but what a disaster. We move on now. There, the other car's coming out of the pit, so I'm already a pit stop behind. It's Lewis Hamilton, ironically, coming out of the pit, so I have to show him due courtesy. And there's Guido van der Garde. He's caught up. The Caterham is caught up, and he's through. He's gotten his way past, as again I was put off by the intrusion of another car. And that's a big disaster. I now have to gain back 19th. My pit stop is made, and that was another car coming into the pits. I couldn't tell who it was, but it was a 3.2 second pit stop, I think, and now I've got more lap traffic to let by, so it's basically the case of the blue flags. There we go. Sergio Perez and Mark Webber, excuse me, are battling for a podium, and I have absolutely no motives to get involved with that. There's Sebastian Vettel, who I've just mentioned, and there are another 2 or 3 cars to let by in a quick succession, but we won't look at that, as a bit pointless. So here we go. It's Hamilton, Massa, Webber, Perez, Vettel, Button, Alonso, Di Resta, Raikkonen, Grosjean, Ricciardo, Rosberg, Gutierrez, Verne, Sutil, Hulkenberg, Maldonado, Pic, Van der Garde, myself, Bianchi and Chilton. So bear that in mind. Paul Di Resta is my championship rival. If he gets enough points, he will overtake me in the championship. So I have to hope for the best that he loses out on some positions. But now I'm catching Van der Garde by the rate of a couple of seconds a lap. So at least I could gain a top 19 finish or better. I don't want to be in the bottom 3 and it would complete a disastrous day. So now I've reduced the gap yet again to Van der Garde. Is my moment coming? It really must be eventually now. I gain a much better entry into turn 1, and through we go. I fast forward just a little bit to show how much progress I was making, and now the battle begins. 20th position. I want to discard it. I want 19th instead, but Van der Garde gets a better exit. You can see, look at all the time he's gained as a result of taking the racing line. I put it into rich fuel mix to gain a bit of payback, and reeling him in now. Can I learn my lesson and make a clean overtake? I really brake late, and I lock up just like I did on lap 12, I think it was. So Van der Garde is back through. I sense another opportunity. Go for his inside. No, it's still up for grabs here. Van der Garde doing his very best, and this is my favourite overtaking spot now. I take a little corner cut, and I'm through, but no, Van der Garde's still through. He's still got the position. An extraordinary battle for a meaningless position, in all honesty, but now I've got one last run on him here. He's gone wide, braking for where he really shouldn't overtake, and then there I go, I'm through, and this time I don't get a penalty. So a bit of double standards there. That was probably a more heartless move than the one on Jean-Eric Verne, and yet I didn't get a penalty. But that will conclude a rather hit and miss United States Grand Prix. I can only muster a 19th position from last place on the grid after a very good start. So there we go. It's another disappointment after Abu Dhabi was the absolute nightmare. So Maldonado 16th, Paul Di Resta finishes 10th. So Di Resta doesn't quite overtake me in the standings. So I've one last chance to make a name for myself at the Interlagos track in Brazil. So there we go. Nico Rosberg actually caught Ricciardo and overtook, but Lewis Hamilton is the master of the United States again, with Massa, Webber, Vettel, Perez, Button, Alonso, Raikkonen, Grosjean and the rest of there. The top 10. Verne 13th, Gutierrez 14th, Sutil 15th, Maldonado beats Hulkenberg, and Pic beats me. So a bad race for Marussia, but they'll just have to try and improve next season. So there we go. Alonso is your world champion. Hamilton solidifies his second position. Vettel third. I think Webber is up to fourth now as a result of his podium. So there's all sorts of battles going on. But but the one you'll need to watch is myself, Paul Di Resta and Adrian Sutil, but maybe Gutierrez could perform a last ditch attempt to overtake. So as a result of a decent qualifying session, I gained just a little bit of experience, and I'm actually not too far away from level 6, to be honest. So it's all about the Brazilian Grand Prix. You won't want to miss this one, the final round of the Season 1 World Championship, and I love the Interlagos track. It's one of my favourites, so I expect a much better performance, but it's up to how I do in the end. But that'll conclude this episode. You don't want to miss the Brazilian Grand Prix, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye.